Hi guys, I'm going to make a video for you about composition. We're going to work with composition in photography today. This is actually my second, so hopefully it's better than the first. Mrs. Lee walked in and started talking about her Halloween costume, and I want to save you guys some time. So these are our vocabulary words for composition. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of them. We have composition, visual weight, balance, the law of thirds, symmetrical, asymmetrical, and negative space. Write those down. Leave enough space so you can grab the definitions from me as I speak. And I will do my best I will post a document in Google Classroom with the definitions. I'm going to see if I can figure out how to do that in YouTube as well. And I will also have them taped to the table over there. All right, so first, let's start. I've got 2 pictures of dogs here. And I want you to take a second to tell me which one you like the best. So chances are you chose this one, and the reason is probably not because it's my dog, although I appreciate that. The reason is because you're noticing something about the composition. This one has a better composition, and it makes it more interesting to look at. So composition is something that if you have the most amazing technical skills for drawing, painting, sculpting out of anybody in the world, but you cannot create a good composition, your art is going to go nowhere. So what composition is an ordered arrangement of the elements of art according to the principles of design. So the elements of art are line, shape, texture, space, form, value, and color, and then we arrange those according to principles: rhythm, emphasis, contrast, balance, pattern, movement, and unity. For our quick photography unit, we are going to focus on balance. So balance takes into account something called visual weight. Visual weight. Visual weight is the perceived weight or heaviness of an item. So for example, we've got my pup here. We've got Canis Major. And compared to, this is a relative thing, meaning you need to have something to compare it to. We can't really say that this picture of my turd muffin is either heavy or light until we can compare it to another object. So if we compare it to this bone, Canis looks a lot heavier. If we compare it to this image, they're about the same. I think they're of equal weight. And if we, let me see if I can find something that's heavier. If we compare it to, well here, let's take the bone. Yeah, he's heavier than the bone. If we compare it to this tower, I think the tower is just a little heavier than Canis, right? So that's visual weight. What we want to do with our items is balance them out. So we want to use their visual weight to balance them, as if we put them on a seesaw, that is the picture plane, and the seesaw is not going to fall one way or the other. So balance is a principle of design. We are going to come over to the resource wall and look at balance. So it says right here, you guys can copy this down. Balance refers to the distribution or spreaded outness, where you put it, of visual weight in a work of art. In painting, it's the visual equilibrium, that means equalness of the elements that causes the total image to appear balanced. Balance can be either symmetrical or asymmetrical in a work of art. So here is our seesaw. Here's the center point. Here's our symmetrical balance. Both sides are of equal weight. And here's our asymmetrical balance. One side is heavier than the other side, but what they've done with the heavier side is they've moved it towards the center point, so it feels or looks as if this seesaw is not going to over like that. If we apply this to a painting, here we go. There is our asymmetrical balance. Really, really heavy on this side, so we've actually spilled it over the center point, so this little guy doesn't go flying. Cool? You can create balance with a lot of things. You can use color, you can use shape, you can use size. but we're just going to focus overall on how heavy things look, right? So photographers use the law of thirds to create, or to help them create, decent compositions that are well balanced. So instead of dividing everything into half, what they do is they divide everything into thirds. All right, so what this does is it gives you some PowerPoints. Awesome places to focus your subject so that your composition is just automatically balanced. So we have 3 vertical sections and 3 horizontal sections. And in those sections, the power places are where we want to put our things are on the intersections of the line, on the lines themselves, in a third, 1/3, or in, a vertical third or a horizontal third. Check it out, those words are coming back. They're not going anywhere, vertical and horizontal. So if I've got my dog, let's say there's an environment back here, great places to put him would be on this line, in this vertical third. So his eyes are on this line. And since he's not horizontal, I guess we could lay him down like this if we were making a collage. Now in a collage, say I put him here and all of his bones are over here. In a collage, it's really easy to just pick your pieces up and physically place them where they want to be. So right now, this looks a little squished. I'm going to move him over here. This is not super balanced. We want to add more weight over there. Or just move the bone towards the dog, maybe on that line, and I think I still want a little bit of weight, so I'm going to add some more bones to balance this out. So we always want to look at the center point, right? Ooh, looks like actually I need to move him over here now. That's relatively balanced. Let's look at some photographs real quick. We'll keep it short because I've only got 4% left. Here we go. So there's my law of thirds, right down the center. Our visual weight is equal. We have the pews here, and then we've got this center part. This one is going to be different though. There are a law of thirds, so everything is happening in these 3, and we could even call it 4 areas, but if we divide it in half, we have all of this stuff being balanced out by the lack of stuff over here. This lack of stuff, like this is our object, right? This lack of stuff we call negative space. So if let's grab the dog again. My dog is positive space, and all of the areas around him are the negative space. So we can use positive and negative space to balance stuff out. I want to skip ahead a little bit. Okay, so let's divide this in half. Is this symmetrical or asymmetrical balance? This actually is the same composition as that painting, which means it's asymmetrical. This is our, this actually has a lot of weight to it over here, even though it's one person compared to a group of people. And we have moved this group of people towards the center point, so it doesn't look like the whole thing should tilt. If we look at the law of thirds, we'll see that these people are in 2/3, just like this one person, and they are in fact spilling into this center part. Let's skip ahead because we don't want to look at just wedding photos. Oh, there we go. Okay, divide it in half. Symmetrical or asymmetrical? I think this one is symmetrical balance, and if we look at our law of thirds, we've got them right on this line, just peeking over it, and you can see that they both spill over into the center point. Symmetrical or asymmetrical? Think visual weight. How heavy is this side compared to that side? I think we've got symmetrical again. What's happening is we have more antler over here, plus a rock, less antler over here, plus a larger rock, and it is balancing it out, and our antler is within our sections. So is our rock, and we have a whole third of negative space here. All right, so what we're going to be doing, this is asymmetrical, by the way. This is our subject, this is our positive space along with this. This is our negative space. So we have asymmetrically balanced the positive space with the negative space. Tomorrow we're going to take some photographs and we will be providing each other feedback. I'm going to show you how to get this law of thirds grid onto the iPad camera so you can use it while you're taking pictures. The difference between taking a picture and arranging things as a collage like I was doing over here is you will be moving your camera and even changing your point of view to get a composition that is symmetrically and asymmetrically balanced. So I will see you guys really soon. Have a good night. I think I flipped the camera at some point. I'm sorry. Ciao.